Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to model this exterior scene. I got this reference from ArchDaily and we have a lot of fun doing that, so let's get started. First, I have my reference image on my right side, so is the house that we're going to build. So let's create a box for that. I place it on the Z axis and actually the 0 axis. And let's take a look here. Maybe this wall will have around 4 meters. We can see here there is a human inside the house, so maybe this human is around, I don't know, 1 meter and 80. So looks like that this house has around like 4 meters. So we're going to model based on this information. Like it's more like an eye information actually. I didn't have the information about the house, about the dimensions and everything. Okay, so everything here will be made by eye. Okay, so this first step is more about the house. I'm going to create all the walls, windows and everything. Okay, so let me see. I think the size is okay, so let's try to add a window on this house. So I'm going to use the ArchPack add-on to create the windows, so it's easier actually. So I really like ArchPack, and this is one of the plugins I use the most actually. Increase here the width and the panel, so maybe it's around 11, 12 panels. Okay, let's adjust the position. Let's increase the height a little bit. Maybe I have to adjust the height a little bit more, maybe. Yeah, something like this, 266. Also these panels, not panels, these frames, that I will turn off handle and alt table as well, so we don't have the frames on the window. So place it on the right position, and we have to make the cuts. Maybe place it in the middle, and yeah, I think it's time to add the cuts. So it's Ctrl R, I think. Let me see, to make the loop, the cut loop. Yeah. Want to place it very close to the window, so it will be the right position for this cut. Ctrl R again. Yep, something like this. Okay, same thing for the horizontal lines. Ctrl R, adjust the position. Yeah, one last cut. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. Okay, so let's delete this part here. And yeah, perfect. So let me see inside. Okay, let's create the floor, increase the height of this floor. So to do that, I'm going to copy this bottom part here, and I'm going to duplicate it very close to the window. So bring it up, something like this. We are not going to decorate inside. I really wanted to, but it will take a lot of time, so we are just creating some good shape inside, and maybe I can record a new tutorial to do that. So I'm going to apply this solidify just to give some thickness to the walls. Okay. Something like this. I think it's good enough. We're not going to see inside the house. Perfect. It's always good to turn on even thickness. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let me take a look. Yeah, there is something wrong here. Okay, maybe it's the floor. I have to increase a little bit. Actually scale down a little bit this part here. So S to scale and scale it down. Yeah, 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters. I think it's more than enough. Perfect. Okay, so next step. I'm seeing actually the reference on my other screen, and this reference, this house actually has a kind of ceiling outside of this house, outside the house. So what I'm going to do is duplicate this part here. Actually, first I'm going to apply the solidify, and then I'm going to copy this part here, only this part, copy and bring it up, Shift D to copy. Okay, so yeah, so let's apply a solidify to that. Let's put something like 10 centimeters, 5 I think, yeah. Okay, maybe, nah, I think it's okay. Okay, bring it down, and this will be like a black ceiling, very thin ceiling. It's a small detail of this house. Okay, I'm gonna apply it, and I'm going to apply all transform as well, and maybe apply a bevel. Where is it? Here. Yeah, here you go. So 0.5, I think it's good enough. And this house actually has this base structure on the bottom. So let's create this. So to do that, I'm going to create this box and adjust the size. Maybe, you know, 50, 50, 50. No, it's too big. Maybe, let me see, 20. Yeah, I think so. 20 is a good number for that. Okay, so let's place it on the right position. Something like that. And let's duplicate it. Actually, maybe before do that, apply an all transform and apply a bevel to this part. Something like this. Yeah. And now I think we are good to go. I'm gonna apply this bevel and apply an all transform again, set the pivot to the right position. And let's unwrap it before we copy. It's always good. So we don't need to do that later on. Okay. I lost my image. Okay, so let me drag and drop it again. Okay, perfect. Here we go. Okay. Place it on the right position where you think it is the right. Oh, I'm just counting here. Yeah, there are a lot of this basic structure. So to duplicate it, press Shift D, and then if you press Shift R, you're going to replicate what you are doing. So it's very useful. Okay, so let's select everything. Actually, I'm going to delete this one. Let's select everything and do the same on the other side. Okay, same thing, just press Shift D and then Shift R to replicate it. Yeah, something like this. Okay, let's take a look. Whoa, I think it's too much. I think so. Too many pillars. Let's delete some of them. I think it's too much. Yeah, maybe you can keep 4, maybe more. 4. Let's put something like this. Perfect. Okay, so the next step I think is to prepare for texturing. So we're going to unwrap all this box. So I'm going to select this front part here and let's unwrap it. Actually, if you press U, yeah, go to Smart UV Project, press OK. Let's see it on the UV editor. Not good, so I'm going to use the front project. So I think it's the best option, and we're going to do it for all the sides of this house. Okay, so this is the bottom, so we're going to use the same technique. To the left, the same thing. U, and apply the projection. To the other side, same thing. Press U, assign the projection, and yep. I think maybe I have to isolate this. Let's try to do this back part here. Something is wrong here, I think. We have to apply a bevel. Have to do it again, actually. But before apply bevel, we have to apply all transform. Don't forget to apply all transform. It's very important. Every step you do, apply all transform. Okay, so yeah, it's important to give the bevel before, because otherwise you like waste time on the unwrapping thing after that. So don't forget that. So let's do it very quickly. Let's use the same technique. But before that, let's just unwrap this inside part. I think it'll be easier because as I apply and solidify it, created thickness, so we have the inside and the outside to unwrap. And what really matter right now is the outside. I'm not very worried about the inside, so I'm going to just apply regular smart UV project, select the UVs and bring it to the left. Actually, yeah, press N to select, yeah, to have the bar on the left and select the movement tool, right? Okay, so perfect. So let's do the same technique I was doing before. Select this part here. And this part here as well. This one here. And this one here. The top part. I don't know you guys, but I really don't enjoy doing that. The UV part, you know, it's too time consuming, but it's necessary, right? We have to do that. So, okay. We're almost done here. I'm just separating the UVs, and then I think we are good to go and texture everything. Let's place actually. Let me bring this to the left and place this front and back part together, something like this, and this one is the side part of the house in here, and we have the top and the bottom, but they are on a different scale, so I have to scale it down, this big one here. Something like this, maybe a little bit less, yeah. Okay, I think we are good to go. Don't need more than that. Perfect. So let's take a look on our house, unhide everything. Yeah, perfect, looks really nice. Okay, so next step, it's time for the floor, so for the ground. Okay, so let's create a plane for that to create the sand. I think it's I think a plane is enough, it's more than enough. So it should be bigger, much bigger than that. Okay, something like this. This part here, extend it, and maybe you have to extrude it and give some volume to that. So I'm going to the right view here and extrude it down, extrude it to the front and down again and to the front. I think it's a good terrain, so maybe I think we have to extend a little bit more this front part here, but yeah. It's not bad. It's time for adding some rocks. Actually, I'm going to use the Quixel bridge to import the props here. So let's take a look on this one here, the Nordic beach. Yep. I'm using the Octane plugin, so that's why I can import everything from bridge. Okay, so maybe this one, another Nordic beach. So okay, let's bring something like this. Here's the reference again. Yeah, I think this rock's pretty good. This one here looks interesting as well. Let's take a look. It doesn't mean that I'm going to use everything, okay? It's just a test. It's important to import things, I think, like to see the composition and see how it looks, but not all the time I use everything I import. Okay, so I'm going to export this guy here and import it on Blender. Okay, so let me see, export, select image. So let me find it here. Okay, perfect. So it'd be better to have reference on Blender. It guides us to the right direction, right? Okay, so let's adjust this environment, see what we can get. Okay, let me see here. Let's put a camera. I'm gonna set the rotation here to 90 degrees. Yep. Okay. Let me divide this viewport here. So on the left we can have our camera, and let me set the resolution here, and also adjust the display, the viewport display, the pass out, just to focus what we have, what we want to see. Okay, let's adjust the focal length here. So let's try 25 millimeters. Let's adjust the composition, try to get something closer to the reference, and maybe I have to adjust the distance between the rocks and the camera. Something like this, I think. Maybe it's too far away, I don't know. This guy, I think it's a little small. Maybe if we bring it close to the camera, yeah, something like this. Much better. Okay. This guy, all this guy here, I'm going to bring this up. No, actually I'm going to do better. I'm going to select the terrain, this part here, and bring it up. Yeah, something like this. Okay, yep, yeah. I think I solved the problem. Let's save it. I think we can still adjust the focal length. Maybe something like, I don't know, 15, 14, yeah, 15, 14, something like this. Bring the camera close to the subject, close to the rocks. Yep, yeah, much better. Let's put an environment actually not an environment, but an HDRI. So let's light the scene. Let me find my HDRI over here. Yeah, let's try maybe this one here. Okay. This HDRI, I got it from 3D Collective. Okay, so I can leave the link on the description, so you can buy it. It's I always tell about them. It's a really nice they have really nice HDRIs. So go there and check them out. Okay guys, so let's move on. Let's add a sand texture to our terrain. Okay, so I have actually already purchased a sand surface. So I'm going to import this texture into Blender. Going to select this guy and unwrap it. So then we are good to go. Going to the shader editor, going to apply this material, and let's take a look. It takes a little longer when you just import a new texture into Blender Octane. So yeah, here you go. So maybe it's too big. Let's decrease this guy over here. Scale it down actually. Maybe a little bit less, 0.05. 0.02. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Let's take a look on these rocks over here. Maybe we don't need this one selected. I think I'm going to delete this. Let's rotate this guy here and bring those two rocks to the left. Yep. Better. This one, maybe it's better here. Okay. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, maybe it's time to texture the house. So let's take a look on what I have purchased here on the surface, wood, and this one, no, maybe this one here. Yeah, I think this one is pretty good, very similar. Actually, the reference is more like a concrete, but if you take a look very closely, you're going to see that it's a wood. But I don't know, I'm going to apply this wood. Maybe I could apply a concrete, but I don't know. This guy over here, the ceiling outside, I'm going to apply a black normal material. We don't need anything fancy. So this house is going to be far away from the camera, so I don't need to put too much effort on it. Okay. Okay, let's take a look on the house wood. Let's adjust the size here, scale it down. Yeah, 0.1, maybe 0.02. Oops, 0.7. Okay, let's apply a glass material to the glasses. Roughness 0. Turn on fake shadows, and yeah, not bad. Let me try thin wall here just to see what happens. Yeah, let's keep specular for this. Okay, Let's add a material to this molding here. Inside, I think this one. Yep, got it. Okay, a little bit of metallic, and I think we are good to go. Very nice. Maybe I think we should open a window here as well. It's too dark inside, so I'm going to delete this face here. I think I have to select, actually I'm not going to delete, I'm going to bridge it. So bridge face, yeah, here we go. You can copy the same windows here and bring it to the other side. Select it, maybe the front view is the better option, but let me try here. Okay, and bring it to the other side. Press G to move it, and yeah, here you go. Perfect. Yeah, let's render it to see how it looks. Not bad, much better actually. Okay, let's bring some vegetation to our scene. Something like this one here, maybe. Maybe this one. Yeah, let's just export this one here. This one, maybe we can import, but I'm not completely sure yet. Okay, so I'm going to bring it here and press Alt P, clear the transform and apply all transform to it, and then center the pivot to the bottom of the object. Okay, so when you import plants from Quixel Bridge, actually Octane helper doesn't do a great job, so I have to make some tweaks here. So I'm going to change to the diffuse and plug this opacity to the opacity channel and unplug the medium channel here. Perfect, I think we're good to go. Let's see this one here, and maybe we can import it as well. Actually, I'm importing it, but maybe we can use it. It's better to have more than one vegetation. It's more realistic. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Exactly the same thing. Delete this diffuse and mix material here. Apply the universal material to the surface. Change it to the diffuse, and unplug the median and plug the opacity to the right channel. Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, I think the first thing we have to do here is separate this piece of vegetation. They are all together, so let's put some of them apart. We don't need all of them together, otherwise it'll be very unrealistic. Okay, so something like this. Maybe you can separate one, copy this one. I don't need to copy actually. Just like to have a little variation of the vegetation. So same thing with this one here. Try to adjust the best way possible. And select everything and then Ctrl J so it becomes one piece. Okay, so I think we can start scattering this vegetation. So to do that, I'm going to use the scatter add-on. So here you have to select the terrain and then you select the vegetation you want to scatter, and then you have to select the type of scattering. So I'm going to use this one and then press scatter, and here I'm going to decrease the number of objects, and then let me bring this to the left. Yeah, so now I'm going to increase just to see a little bit more. Let's do the same thing for this one here. So I'm going to choose this template, and this one is too much, so same thing, I'm going to decrease the vegetation here. Yeah, not bad. Sorry, my dog just barked. Okay, so let's take a look on this one here. Maybe let's choose a different template. Maybe this one here. Same thing, I'm going to reduce the amount of objects, and let's take a look. Not bad. Let's render it to have a better visualization. We don't need like too much vegetation, it's just like something very subtle. We don't need to like put a lot of green vegetation here. That's not the idea. But I'm going to put vegetation on these rocks. Okay, so I'm going to select the rock, and maybe I'm going to put this one here, the small one, and let's select this guy here. Oops, this one, and yeah, here we go. We have a rock with a lot of vegetations. Let's decrease this, and same thing we're going to do for this one here. So select it, yep, and scatter, then decrease it. Yeah, here we go, perfect. Not bad, not bad. Let's take a look. Okay, maybe it's too much. Let's select this here and decrease the scale just to see. No, maybe it's better we decrease the amount of objects. Yeah, I think it's better. Okay. Maybe I think it's time to add another object to this scene. Maybe a tree like this one here. I think it would be nice. Bring it to the left just to have a little bit more. It's more about like the composition actually. I believe it's much better like this. Okay, just a little touch on this image. Okay, let's take a look. I have to adjust the lighting as well. First, let me decrease the GI clamp to 1. Let's try to change the kernel type, and also have to select the camera here. We have to adjust the lighting, so let's wait a little bit. Okay, so let's increase the exposure a little bit. Be careful to not overdo. Adjust the white balance as well, something like this. Perfect. And the kernel world, we can adjust the rotation of this HDRI. Decrease a little bit the exposure. You have to like keep adjusting like all the time. Most of the time I'm doing this, like adjusting the exposure, adjusting the rotation, so to get the best look and the best view and the best lighting. Okay, so maybe rotate a little bit more. Something like this, I think. It's not bad. Let's decrease, actually increase the exposure, and maybe you have to decrease the saturation as well. Let's see. Saturation, decrease a little bit, so it's too saturated. Exposure, let's bring it down. Rotation, let's rotate it again. Something like this. Yeah, a little better. Maybe a little bit less. You have to keep your eyes on the shadows. It's very important. Okay, and of course on the highlights as well. Let's adjust the white balance a little bit more. Yeah, saturation a little bit, decrease a little bit more, and let's adjust the colors of these rocks over here. So to do that, I'm going to create a color correction and plug it on the albedo here. So then we can adjust the exposure of this albedo. Okay, so saturation, let's decrease it, and the exposure as well. Same thing for this one here. Color correction and plug it on the albedo and decrease exposure. I don't think we need to decrease saturation for this one, but yeah, much better. Same thing for the wood of the house. Okay, so color correction, and let's bring this up. Exposure needs to be brighter, actually. It's too dark. Perfect. Much better. Maybe PMC is not the guy. Path trace definitely will do a really good job. And it's faster, actually. So it's still missing some contrast. So to do that, let's add a lookup table. Have one here. Yeah. So more contrast. Maybe it's too much. I'm going to decrease it to 0.8. Still good. Let's scale this guy up a little bit and bring it down. and this one bring it down, something like this. Interesting, very nice. Yeah, it's not bad. It's very good actually. A little saturated actually, but let's take a look on the render at the end. Here I'm going to increase the aspect ratio of this image, something like this, and also increase the resolution, because 1K or 2K is not too much. So I really like to render my image like usually more than 3K, 3K and a half. Like usually 4K is the resolution I'm used to render. Okay, let's take a look. Not bad. The sand looks really nice. Vegetation is not bad. Rocks, maybe it should be a little darker. The house is empty. This is one of the thing I really don't like empty house, but for this tutorial I'm not going to furniture anything, so maybe, as I said, the rocks I think is too bright yet, and this trees is pretty good actually. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm going to send it to the post-production as well, so it will be very nice. Okay, I think we have to adjust the rocks. As I said, it's too bright. Maybe you have to decrease a little bit the exposure of these colors to have something more natural. So let me decrease it. Something like this. Let's take a look. This one here as well, it's too bright. Actually, I thought I had put on color correction here, but some reason I don't know what I made. Okay, so let's decrease the exposure, but I think it's too much. No. It's always good to try it out, you know, like play around with the numbers. Don't be afraid to exaggerate, but it's just to look, not to use it, or I mean, not to render it exaggerate. It's just to like have an idea of how it looks when you have a full saturation or not. Okay, I'm going to decrease here the vegetation a little bit. My opinion is too big, so for some of those I'm going to decrease it. I'm using the random scale, so it's not the script is not decreasing everything in the same size, so it makes some randomize in this vegetation. So let's take a look. I think we have like this big vegetation here on the right. I have to adjust it. Let me see this one here. I think this one. It's too big actually. Maybe I have to move it. Here, I think I can move it here. Yeah. Let's try some new values here. See if you can get some interesting results. Not bad, not bad. Let me see. Yeah, maybe this one. There's a little piece of vegetation here. Oh, looks nice. Okay, well, I think we are almost done. Everything looks nice. I think we can render it actually. Saturation, let's decrease a little bit more. As I said, it's like too saturated. We don't need like too much saturation on this scene. I think we have a little bit more tweaks to do. Just decrease the result, the aspect ratio here, and let's adjust. Maybe it's too dark, these rocks, so let's increase brightness a little bit, and for this one as well. So I think would be nice here. And the sand is too bright as well, so let's bring this color down a little bit, this tone down. So yeah, it's too much I think, but something like this would be nice. Yeah, much better actually. What do you think, guys? I think so. Saturation of this one here. Just try to give some warmness on the wood, so it's just to be a little warm. Okay, let's take a look on this render here, and I think we are good to go to render it for post-production. Yeah, not bad. Very nice. The sand looks good, vegetation looks good, rocks looks good, wood looks good, sky looks good. Everything looks good, I think. So I hope, guys, you have enjoyed it. Actually, I'm going to show you the final result. Here I brought more warm colors to the scene and also more contrast. I think it was like missing contrast and also sharpness, so this is what I made. Actually, I have made more tree moods for this scene, so I made this overcast look as well. Very nice. I think it's much more interesting because of the clouds. It's a little better, I think, the first one. And then I made a night look as well. My opinion, this one is the one that I like the most, and except for no furniture inside the house. I think I should have put some furniture inside it, but it's okay. I think for this tutorial it's perfect. I think you can understand a little bit more about my workflow, and yeah. Hope you have enjoyed it, guys, and see you in the next video.